The next part of the program is really to give you an overview of CTE in Texas and some of the resources that are available. You met John Ellis. John Ellis is a statewide coordinator over several career clusters listed here. What this slide does, it tells you about, the school districts in the charter are really the foundation here. And then we've got our education service centers is your next line of defense, basically. And then you've got the TEA. We're all there. The education service centers, the TEA, we're all there to support the school districts. As you know, there's 20. And our staff is also divided as far as ESCs. John Ellis works with regions 1 through 7. Ron does regions 8 through 13. And Dale does 14 through 20. This is a map of the ESCs. And for some reason, it's not working. But I think you're going to get a map like this tomorrow. What this map does is also shows you the workforce development boards. There's a real big push now that whatever you're offering in CTE should align with workforce needs. And so tomorrow there's going to be a lot of talk about that, and then an activity on Friday regarding that. And this is one of my favorite pictures, and I don't think I'm going to get the numbers. This is supposed to tell you there's 5.23 million students. I don't know how many teachers and districts, but this is the Ron Whitson Agricultural Education Center. And that's Ron Whitson that's sitting over there. And so this is in Mansfield ISD. And he spent a lot of time teaching in Mansfield, and he came to the agency a couple years ago, maybe 3? I don't know. They recognized him in Mansfield by naming a school campus after him. Isn't that awesome? And so we're so proud. I get goosebumps every time I see that. Okay, as far as student demographics, here you go. Hispanic at 52%. This is the latest. White, 28.9. African American, 12.6. Asian, etc. And you can see economically disadvantaged is at 58.8%. So how do the laws and rules come to be? Well, the Texas Education Code, we've got our legislators, they pass a bill, it becomes law, and it's codified in the Texas Education Code. Texas Administrative Code, this is where our TEKs live. The State Board of Education, elected, and the board chair is appointed by the governor, but they draft rules, and they're real good whenever they're going to have a rule. Is that they always have a discussion for one meeting, then they have first reading and following authorization, second meeting, and the third meeting is the adoption. So if you ever want to give public comment, they take it. And then also we've got the State Board of Educator certification. We've got a commissioner who's really great. He can also propose different rules, and he's got some rules that deal with CTE and ARD committees, that you should have a CT representative, preferably the teacher, in those ARD committees. So that's one of the commissioner's rules. And then you've got TE staff like us, and we're state employees. And what we do is we help you by interpreting and implementing some of the education laws and rules. So there you go. Laws, rules, policies, and guidelines. So write down how you would describe CTE. I think we did that already, right? Kind of, sort of? I think we did, yeah. So I'm going to skip that one. As far as enrollment, we're at 1,285,600 and something. So you can see from the graph that we're really growing. One of the highest enrolled career clusters is the Arts AV. It may be that it has professional communications in it, and it just may be that it has lots of different courses in it. That's one of the largest career clusters. And then you can see business management, administration, and agriculture. Now, one thing is our CTSOs. We have how many, Ron, that we recognize? 9 of them. And if your teachers are not an advisor yet, please encourage them to be an advisor. It can make a world of difference to students. It's a way for them to apply what they're learning in the classroom, either through, competitive events or working out in the community. It's something that's really good for kids. And the membership in that continues to grow. We're at over 200,000 members, CTSO members around the state. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to turn it over to, I think it's Dale, and he's going to talk to you about some of those leadership activities that we provide for you.
Thanks, Diane. Just really quickly, what we want to do next is just sort of go into a little bit more detail on some of the leadership activities and some of the grants and contracts that are available out there for support for you and your teachers. The first one is the Career and Technical Special Populations Training and Resource Center. And Special Populations has a special place in Perkins. You may or may not know that. Special Populations is defined as those students who are in special needs in one way or another. That includes low socioeconomic students, including foster children. It includes students who are ELL. It includes students who are special ed, students who are in non-traditional career paths, single parents, and others. And so what this resource does, what the grant resources provides, is training for your teachers, information about art, training for ARDS, how you work with special education students to accommodate them, accommodate their needs, and have them be successful in your program. And so this is a resource that we provide through Perkins State Leadership. It's called the Career and Technical Special Populations Resource Center. So I wanted you to be aware of that, and you'll learn more about this and know more about it. But as you and your teachers are working through some of these concerns that you have about these students are in your class and how do you make them successful, here's a place for you to look. Next, and you're going to hear Diane mention this group that's coming tomorrow and the next day, and Diane also mentioned the big push in Texas and nationwide. But you know, Texas really does sort of lead the way in a lot of areas, and Texas leads the way in CTE. I'll just say that to you. And one of the leading edges is working together with labor market information. What is it that businesses and industries need, and how can you, as a school district, help your community meet those needs? That students end up with a high-quality education, but they also end up with a good job that pays well, and they're able to use those skills and technical knowledge that they've gained from your program. So this resource is called the Texas Labor Market and Career Information site. It's a website that has all kinds of cool things on it. You ever heard of Reality Check? Anybody know about Reality Check? Really works really well. Really gives people an insight into what it takes to have the kind of lifestyle they think they want, at any rate. That's one feature, but it also gives a lot of data that's available and helpful for you, your students, your teachers, and for your district to sort of look at. And you're going to hear more about this when the Texas Workforce Commission folks come and talk to you tomorrow. They're very interested in having a partnership with you. There are those workforce boards that Diane mentioned that are available to work with you, and so we're going to try and help you make the connection. And I'll say to you that over the years that we've been doing the Leadership Academy, this is one of the areas that we've really tried to concentrate on. And so you're getting the fruits of that labor, so to speak, and we're just about there where we've got it perfected, where we're going to be able, I think we're going to be able to show you how you really can find out what your needs are and what you can learn, and you can use it or not, depending on what you and your school district want to do, but at least you'll be aware of what the needs are in terms of the labor market in your area for you and your students. So there's that resource. New Teacher Conference. Did you have some new teachers in the New Teacher Conference? Anybody? A couple of you? I hope that they learned something. I appreciate your having them come. I hope that it was beneficial. We had a lot of applicants. We had 210 people, which is a record number. We sort of ran out of capacity a little bit, but that's a good number. And we wanted them to come here and be here, and I think they learned something. We hope that they did. And we'd encourage you as administrators, as you're going forward, to have your teachers take advantage of these kinds of trainings, because these are TEA-sponsored events, and so we have oversight of them, and we try to ensure that they're the highest quality. And you see where that we just finished that, didn't we? All right. So here's the next new thing. How many of you have new teachers in your schools or your programs? Okay. Okay. Well, I want to tell you about the CTE New Teacher Mentorship Program. Just a little bit about this, and you'll hear more about it later. But one of the things that we're interested in doing is making sure, like Diane said, that we recruit and retain teachers. You know that's a difficult time. You know first-year teachers quit because of frustration, because of perceived difficulties, because of the overwhelming nature of trying to be a teacher in a public school system. CTE is probably even a little bit more complicated. And so what we want to do, and I know you're doing what you can in your situation to help them, what we're trying to do with the new teacher mentorship program is offer additional state-level resources if they're needed. And what we're going to do is start with the 210 or so teachers who came, and they're going to be our cohort for this year. And we're going to have someone, I don't know who it's going to be exactly because the contract has not been let yet. We're still waiting for the responses to come out. They're coming next week. So we're going to find a good provider. We're going to make it known that this program exists. We're going to start with those 210 teachers that were here, and we're going to ask them, do you need a high-quality mentoring program? Do you want just-in-time information where you can call someone or email them and they're a mentor CTE teacher who has experience and knowledge of what it's like to be in the classroom in your situation? And can we help them? Can we provide them and keep them there, keep them going? This is in addition to what you're doing at your district and at your school level. And if they don't need the help, then we'll go on to somebody else who does. But we're hoping that this kind of program that takes what they learned while they were here these 2.5 days and makes it sustainable during their first year when they have so many difficulties, because it is a challenging time. I remember my first year of teaching, I did not want to come back. I'm glad I did. I did not want to come back, but I'm glad I did, and I had a successful career, but I could have used some help. I had help, but I needed more. That's another story. So now, Mr. Whitson's going to come and talk about this program.
Okay, thank you, Dale. And we're going to continue talking about some of the leadership programs that are available through career and technical education, and specifically some of those that we fund from state leadership funds. We're very proud of our Advanced Technical Credit Program. We're, for those of you who've been familiar with that program in the past, we had last year where it was basically not available. We did not have a contractor during the last year, and I am proud to say that we have currently got a new contractor. The Educational Policy Information Center out of Eugene, Oregon, is administering the Advanced Technical Credit. If you're not familiar with that, Advanced Technical Credit is a program which allows you to offer articulated credit on a statewide basis for certain technical credit courses at the community college level. So students typically that are being served through ATC courses, those students are typically high school students being taught by a high school teacher who has been especially trained at teaching those courses and applying those skills at the same way that they would at the community college level. Participating community colleges have the opportunity then to receive those students, and those credits are articulated, and according to whatever rules might be in place, they are able to have those posted on their transcript after they have enrolled in those participating community colleges. One thing I think is unique about the ATC program and different than maybe a local articulation agreement is that it basically can be credit that's transferred between community colleges and recognized at more than one college across the state. So we're very proud of that program. If you want to know more about ATC Texas, go to our website, which is atctexas.org. That dot's hard to get out today. Just a quick word about programs of study. We have offered the College and Career Readiness Grant for, I believe, since 2006. We've had that grant. Again, over the past year, we've really just kind of maintained the offerings that we have there, but we continue to offer programs of study. I believe we've got a little bit over 122 programs of study that are available on the Achieve Texas website. So achievetexas.org is the website for that. We have implementation guides to help your school be able to implement programs of study and the career clusters And we have a counseling guide there that you counselors, I know, are going to learn a whole lot about over the next few days. So I'm not going to spend too much time talking about that. I'm going to leave that to the expert, who is Dr. Alexander, who has worked on that project with us throughout that many, many years that we've worked on it. ESC Technical Assistance and Professional Development. We spend some of our leadership money to help our educational service centers be able to provide CTE-specific professional development and technical assistance to you. I know you met with your ESC specialist with your regions by table today, but I do want to take just a minute and ask all of our, we should have just almost all of our ESC specialists, if you guys would just stand up for us, please, so everybody can recognize you. Let's give them a hand. This is a great group of professionals who are really kind of your first line of defense. If you've got something that you need to know about that concerns career and technical education, all 20 of our regional service centers has one or more people that is employed for the specific purpose of working with career and technical education, and we provide part of the funding for that through our Perkins Leadership money, so that they can provide the types of professional development and technical assistance that you see up here on the screen. And then, of course, another of our leadership projects is this counseling academy that many of you are involved in for this week, and we're looking forward to this fourth edition of this counseling academy. And new for this year, and we'll be telling you more about this as the week goes on, but new for this year, we have just released a new contract for this particular academy, and we're expanding it. We are actually going to have 3 academies that will go on during this academic year. Three-part academies that will be going on during this academic year. We don't know yet where the other 2 academies will be. We know they will not be in Austin. We're doing our Austin week this week, and we're going to take this as a road show. And we're going to go out there where we have counselors who need help. And this kind of came about as a realization that there are a lot of counselors out there, and sometimes there's not a lot of ways to provide the type of information that's needed to help you help students. And so we wanted to be able to provide this information to as many counselors across the state as we could. So beginning with this year, we're going to have a 3-part or 3 full cohorts of the Counseling Academy that come up. And so with that, I'm going to introduce John Ellis, who's going to come up here and tell you a few more of our leadership activities.
All right, I think Dale touched on this a little bit already, but just so you know, this is our Leadership Academy that you're in right now. There is a phase 2 that's going to be that you'll work on throughout the year, and then you'll come back in the summer and complete phase 3 with us. We just did that back in June. It seems like not too long ago. It is designed for CTE administrators, new administrators, and as Dale did say, it was, we're pretty sold out, and we did turn away some. So go back and sell this to your administrators for next year, and we'll take them on next year if there's a room. So thank you for that. Here's another resource that we have. We call it the Educational Excellence Resource. These are universities that we have grants with, and they provide the instructional materials for the different clusters. There's Texas A&M University with the architecture, construction, agricultural, food, and natural resources, and then transportation, distribution, and logistics. We have Stephen F. Austin with education training, hospitality, tourism, and human services. And then University of North Texas has the remaining clusters. And these are, we get a lot of comments from teachers that say they really like these resources and use them. And so we continue to have this throughout the rest of this school year for them. Another, if you have any teachers that are teaching career prep, practicum courses, any other work-based learning courses, then there's a requirement as part of the certification that they complete a training for learning how to teach work-based learning. This way they cover all the education code, all the labor market codes, federal codes as dealing with students, and the minimum requirements that we have in the Student Attendance Accounting Handbook. If you're teaching a career prep, you need to be sure that they're aware of the Student Expense Accounting Handbook and dealing with career prep and practicum courses. This training is online. It's at the Texas A&M University Corpus Christi. It's free. Teachers that complete it, that gets about, I think it's 6 hours 10 hours CPE credits. They log in and they keep track of that. And then last is the Texas Genuine is another project that we have, and it started out at the post-secondary level. It was for students that were to get a career awareness for college students. We partnered with Higher Education Coordinating Board, and we expanded that to students into secondary level. I don't know how many counselors know about this, but students can have access to it for free. They log in with their email address. They work through all the questions, and at the end, it'll give them 3 clusters that match what they're interested in. And then it shows them salary information, education requirements, potential careers that they can get with that cluster. So it's a good resource for them. We'll continue to support that for this next year. Any questions? Yes, ATC question.
Is there any talk about in the future of other ways for letting teachers become certified for ATC? Right now you have to have either a degree in it or have, 3 to 5 years experience. Is there any talk about teachers maybe getting specialized training so they can qualify for that?
Okay, what we're working up against there with ATC is that the requirements of the community college and the SACS requirements, Southern Association of Colleges, require certain minimums for those teachers. And so when we get to looking at what it really takes for a teacher to qualify, we're pretty much at that minimum level at this point in time. So I think to answer your question, while we would love to be able to do some things to bring other teachers into that, I think that's going to be a difficult task given what our restrictions are with the Higher Education Coordinating Board.
Thank you so much.